Most people don't realize they're being tested until they've already failed, not because the test was impossible, but because they didn't even recognize it. And that's what makes these tests dangerous. They don't look like tests. They look like opportunities, comfort, success, even blessings. But hidden inside them are the very things that can break you. And every single week, you are given a warning, a map, a survival guide, Surah Kahf, not just a story, a system. 4 trials, 4 patterns, 4 ways people lose themselves. And if you don't see them coming, they will break you too. The first trial is the trial of faith. It begins with young believers, surrounded by a society that rejects everything they stand for. Pressure, ridicule, isolation sound familiar? Because today, holding on to your beliefs feels harder than ever. You're constantly told to adjust, to compromise, to blend in, and slowly, you start watering things down, not all at once, but piece by piece, until one day, you look back and barely recognize yourself. That's how faith is lost, not in one moment, but in small, silent compromises. The people of the cave chose differently. They walked away from comfort, from acceptance, from everything familiar. Why? Because they valued truth more than belonging. And that's the first question. What are you willing to walk away from to protect your faith? Because if your environment controls you, your belief will slowly disappear. The second trial is the trial of wealth. 2 men. One had everything, gardens, rivers, power. The other had very little. But here's the twist. The one with everything lost everything, not because of what he had, but because of how he saw it. He thought it was permanent, earned, guaranteed, and that illusion made him arrogant, disconnected, ungrateful. And this is happening everywhere today. People chasing money like it's security, like it's identity, like it defines their worth. But wealth is not the problem. Attachment is, because the moment you believe, this is mine forever, you've already started losing it. The second question, if everything you built disappeared tomorrow, who would you be? Because if your identity is tied to what you own, you will break when it's gone. The third trial is the trial of knowledge. Musa, a prophet, someone chosen, still told, there is knowledge you don't understand. So he goes on a journey, and what he sees confuses him. Actions that don't make sense. A damaged boat, a lost life, a broken wall. Each one feels wrong, unjust. But later, the truth is revealed. There was wisdom behind all of it. And this is where most people fail. Because today, you want answers immediately. You want clarity, instantly. And when things don't make sense, you question everything. You doubt. You panic. You lose trust. But not everything is meant to be understood right away. Some things require patience and trust. The third question, can you trust Allah even when you don't understand what He's doing? Because if your faith depends on everything making sense, it won't survive real life. The fourth trial is the trial of power. Dhul-Qarnayn, a leader, given authority, control, influence, and with power comes the ultimate test. Will you use it for yourself or for something greater? Because power exposes you. It reveals your intentions, your ego, your priorities. Some people use it to serve. Others use it to dominate, corrupt, control. And even if you don't have a kingdom, you have power over your choices, your words, your actions. The question is, how are you using it? Because power doesn't always look like authority. Sometimes it looks like influence, and influence can either build or destroy. Now step back, look at your life, faith, wealth, knowledge, power. You are being tested in all 4, every day, in small ways and big ones. And most people, they fail quietly, not because they're incapable, but because they're unaware. They don't see the test, they don't reflect, they don't prepare. But Surah Kahf isn't just telling you stories, it's warning you, training you, showing you the patterns before you fall into them. So the next time you read it, Don't just listen, analyze. Where is your faith being tested? Where is your attachment showing? Where are you demanding answers? Where are you misusing your influence? Because once you see the test, you can respond differently. You can protect yourself. You can grow, but only if you take it seriously, because these tests don't disappear. They repeat over and over until you either learn or break. So choose carefully, because your response is shaping who you become. If this made you think differently, subscribe, because the next video might change your life.